case, and I just meet somebody, I bump into them in a restaurant and I say, hey, how are you? Would you like to get married? That's ridiculous. Yet oftentimes that's what I see people doing in their professional services practice when they're trying to get business. They might be at a networking function. They might bump into somebody. They were referred to them. And all of a sudden they just want to jump in and do some business with them. And they really haven't developed any sort of rapport with them, any understanding of what that person needs. So this 8-step process is really just to give you kind of an overview of the things that you should be considering all the way through your relationship with a prospect or with a client. So right out of the gate, number 1, choose. I know it seems kind of simple, kind of odd, but the first step in a professional sales process is to actually choose who you want to have as a client. There's some people that maybe need what you do, but they aren't a good fit for you or for your organization or for your philosophy and how you do what you do, right? So obviously those aren't your clients, but who is your client? Who's your ideal client? Who do you want to go after? Where are you going to go? If you want to have a great client 5, 7, 8, 10, 20 years down the line, it all starts by choosing who you want right now. So step number 1 is choose. Once you've chosen, step number 2 is connect. If you know who you want to have as a client, then the very next step is actually go connect with them. Introduce, don't sell, but just connect with them. Maybe that's an email, maybe that's visit, that's social media or online. But ultimately, that's the next step is you just connect with them with no agenda, but just start actually having a relationship. And that starts with the connect. Number 3 is conversation. Once you've made a connection with someone, ultimately then we just start a conversation. In a later video, I'm actually going to talk about 4 sort of strategic questions that you can use to actually find out if you can serve that person and direct it to an opportunity, whether it's with you or maybe somebody else. But number 3 is have a conversation. Number 4 is kind of a logical progression for somebody having a conversation that if there's kind of a fit, you verify that, yeah, maybe what they're looking for is something that you can help them with. Then the next step I suggest is actually kind of have a clarifying discussion or a clarifying meeting. And all we're talking about there is that what that person has told you as something that they need, is it in fact something you can help with? And is it something that they're looking to solve now? So instead of trying to jump in, waste a bunch of time doing a proposal, doing a quote, trying to push them into buying with you, let's just have a meeting or a conversation that clarifies what they want, why they want it, when they want it, and what the value is. So that 4th step is a clarifying meeting or a conversation. Okay, so step 5, once we've clarified that what they want is in fact something that we can help them with, next logical step is to go a little bit more in depth and actually kind of dive into it, figure out how you're going to do it, not if you can, and ultimately sort of compel some sort of action, whether that is to book another call, to book another meeting, but ultimately nothing changes, nothing improves, nothing happens until somebody takes some action. So that 5th step, I kind of describe as a compel to take action meeting. Maybe that's action right now, maybe it's action later, but ultimately we want to have something happen, and is client. All we're going through things is we're hopefully somebody else is looking for what we do and to have them become a client. But becoming a client doesn't have to be everything all overnight. It could be just simply starting an engagement with us, buying something, but ultimately having them engage with us in some facet to start the client relationship. Number 7, continue. Once we've got a client, ultimately, Step 8 is the Holy Grail. It's really what I refer to as the champion. We don't want to just have average clients that just stick with us. We want them to be a little bit more. So that's different in every type of business, but ultimately by setting it as a goal, we can kind of define, well, what's a champion look like in our business? Do they buy a certain type of services? Do they spend certain dollars with us annually? Do they give us referrals? Do they give us better than average reviews? Are they promoting us to other people? Now, again, those are just some sample things that you might measure what a champion is for you, but ultimately, without defining it, probably aren't going to be able to build it into your process to take just a client that continues with this to the heights of becoming a champion. So step 8 is actually having a client turn into a champion. So, hey guys, hopefully that was helpful. Today we covered the 8 steps to a sales process for professional services. Right off the top, number 1 that we identified is you got to choose who you're going to go after. It is actually part of the sales process. Number 2 is you got to connect with them. Have some strategies to connect with the people that you've chosen to be your ideal clients. That whole purpose is just to connect with them. Step 3, once we've connected, is we can actually start a conversation. It's not about business. It's just about who they are. In a later video, we'll talk about the 4 questions that maybe bring up opportunities you can serve. But number 4 is clarify. If there is an opportunity you can serve, let's have a conversation specifically to clarify what that is and how you can help. Then ultimately, number 5 is compelled to action meeting. Now, that could be a proposal, a presentation, but ultimately, if nothing changes, if they don't take action, nothing changes, okay? So number 6 is they become a client, big or small. Number 7, we actually have a strategy, and it's part of our process to make sure that they continue with us, that they buy something, they continue to buy. We keep them happy, and we keep them for a long period of time. Grail, we get them to turn into a champion where they're buying multiple services, they're flying our flag, they're a hero of ours, and they're promoting people to us. That's kind of the way that I look at champions. So hopefully that was helpful. I would love your feedback on this. Tell me how you maybe see this fitting into your business, some things that maybe work for you, some questions you might have, or some areas that you have some concerns or where you might be stuck. I would love to answer them and continue the conversation below. Until next time, I'm Rich Scott, and thanks again for listening. Client doesn't have to be everything all overnight. It could be just simply starting an engagement with us, buying something, but ultimately